The hallway outside room 3B always smelled like dust and something sweetly rotten, like old fruit left too long in the sun. The tenants walked quickly past it, never daring to glance at the door too long. It wasn't because of the stories, at least not entirely. It was the sound. Every night, just as the clock in the stairwell struck 2, a soft aching sob could be heard coming from inside. Not loud, not hysterical, just broken. The kind of cry that sounded like it had been practiced for years, controlled, precise, and always right at the keyhole. Tommy Sandler, who lived directly across the hall, had started hearing it 3 weeks after moving in. At first he thought it was the plumbing, something groaning through the pipes. But one night, curiosity got the better of him, and he crept to the door, pressing his ear to the keyhole. The crying stopped immediately, and he swore he felt warm breath against his cheek, as if someone on the other side had done the same thing. He never told anyone, not even Mrs. Polinsky in 4A, who seemed to know every secret in the building, and had asked him directly if he'd heard her. It wasn't until the crying followed him into his dreams that he started to dig. A faded building registry in the basement listed 3B as vacant, no entry, but the key was still in the landlord's drawer. Tommy borrowed it one afternoon under the excuse of needing to check a leak. Room 3B hadn't been touched in years. Dust blanketed everything. The sofa with the lace doily, the tiny wooden table with 2 chairs, one of which had a broken leg. The air was heavy, as though the room itself were holding its breath. But what unnerved him most was the door. From the inside, the keyhole had been scratched, violently, as if fingernails had clawed at it from the dark. He left in a hurry, locking the door tight behind him. That night, the crying didn't come at 2. It came earlier, 1:30, louder, as if she knew someone had been inside. Tommy didn't sleep, and when he rose the next morning, a single black hair had been left on his doorknob. Tommy stood frozen at his door. The black hair curled like a question mark on the metal. It didn't make sense. He hadn't seen anyone on the hall camera when he reviewed it. No visitors, no neighbors passing through. He wrapped the strand in tissue and placed it on his kitchen counter, then sat down at the table and stared at it. It was long, too long to be his and far too smooth. It shimmered faintly under the kitchen light, as if it didn't belong in this world at all. That night, he didn't try to sleep. He sat by his door with a thermos of coffee and a flashlight, waiting. 1:30 came. The crying returned, soft, choking sobs just inches from where he sat. He pressed his hand gently against the door, feeling the tremble of sound through the wood. Then the crying stopped. He waited. Slowly, carefully, he leaned forward and placed his eye to the keyhole. Darkness. But then something moved, too fast to make out. A flicker of white, a pale cheek, an eye. He stumbled backward, heart slamming in his chest. A breath, hot and damp, blew through the keyhole. Then a voice, hoarse and barely a whisper. "You shouldn't have gone inside." Tommy scrambled back and didn't return to the door for the rest of the night. In the morning, a slip of paper was tucked beneath his door. "Room 3B remembers." He turned it over. The handwriting was small and shaky. On the back, a list of dates. The most recent one was circled, May 22nd, the day he entered the room. There were 6 other dates, all in May, all circled, all ending in someone disappearing. Tommy didn't know what scared him more, that he might be next, or that he might already be chosen. Tommy didn't leave the building. He told himself it was to investigate, to find answers. But deep down he knew the truth. He couldn't leave. Not anymore. The dates on the paper haunted him. One by one he looked up names tied to the building's past. Tenants who had lived in 3B. Tenants who had vanished. All of them gone within days of the date beside their name. And each one had been preceded by the same thing: late night crying through the keyhole. On May 24th, 2 days after his name should have been added to the list, Tommy made a decision. He returned to room 3B, not with a flashlight or a camera or a friend waiting nearby. Alone, the door opened easier than before. No dust this time. The air had changed, warmer, heavier, pulsing with silence. He crossed the threshold, and the door shut behind him. They found his apartment untouched. No signs of struggle, no packed bags, just the strand of black hair on the counter. And a new note beneath the door. "She doesn't cry through the keyhole anymore. Now she listens."